The mind. A room with no echo. A screen lights up. Fingers hover, not checking, yet the pull returns. The same message opened, the same words reread. Overthink. A loop that promises answers but delivers only fog. Each glance, a step deeper into the same pain. Not loud, not seen, invisible, but it weighs. The habit feels like control. It feels like clarity. But it's a trap, a system that redraws the same wound. What if clarity isn't found in answers? What if chasing reasons only thickens the haze? The mind assumes it needs more words, more why. But each thought added buries the truth further. The fog doesn't lift by running through it. Each reaction builds a heavier shadow, not the kind others see, not the kind that screams, but the kind that sits behind the chest. Numbness grows, not from loss alone, but from the choice to cling, to reread, to wait for a reply that never comes. The mind, a machine that runs on old inputs, each cycle a silent erosion, not of strength, but of awareness. The danger isn't the pain. It's the fog that hides what's still there. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The words cut like a blade through mist. No reasons needed, no answers sought. Only a moment where the loop stops. The mind, a pond gone still. No ripples, no weight, just presence, waiting to be seen. That pause, was it stillness or just Denny? When the urge came, did it pass or did it linger? The mind that chases never sees itself. The one that stops finds the edge. Not by force, not by will, but by choice to hold the line, to observe without falling. The fog lifts when the loop breaks. A single breath where nothing moves. No answers, no chase, just silence and what it reveals. You think answers clear the fog, don't you? A reason, a word, a why. To make the pain make sense, the mind nods. It builds a case. It chases logic, like a map to escape the haze. Overthink feels like progress. Each thought, a step toward clarity. But it's a lie. The more you explain, the denser the fog grows. Reasons don't lift it, they bury you deeper into a loop that never ends. If I understand, you tell yourself. If I know, but knowing only tightens the grip. Clarity isn't in the answer, it's in the silence you avoid. The mind that seeks stays lost. The one that stops sees. A breath, no words, no chase, just stillness and the truth it holds. Lesson 1. Chasing answers clouds the mind. A thought sparks. A question. Why did it end? Why no reply? The mind reaches. Chase. A reason. A word. A fragment to make sense of the pain. Fingers scroll. Old messages. Old posts. Each tap, a pull towards something that isn't there. The screen glows. The mind insists. This time, it'll clear. This time, the fog will lift. But it doesn't. Each search, a heavier weight. Not loud, not seen, just invisible, pressing behind the chest. The chase feels like progress. It feels like clarity. But it's a lie. A loop that redraws the same wound. What's chased isn't truth. It's noise. Every question asked, another layer of haze. The mind assumes answers cut through. It assumes reasons resolve. But each reason sought builds a denser emptiness. Not the kind that screams, not the kind others notice, the kind that sits, silent, eroding awareness. The chase isn't control, it's surrender to a system that thrives on your reaction. Each step forward, a step deeper into the same trap. The pain isn't the wound, it's the refusal to stop, to see what's already there. The pond stirs, a stone thrown, ripples spread, endless, overlapping. The water clouds, no reflection, no depth, only motion, chaotic, pulling the mind under. To chase is to throw another stone. To seek is to stir more waves. But to pause is to let the water settle, not to find, not to know, just to still until the surface clears. The mind doesn't need more. It needs less motion, less noise, a single breath where nothing moves. That's where clarity begins. Stop. Not forever. Not to give up. Just now. This moment. The urge comes. The question burns. Why, what, how? Let it pass. Don't touch the screen. Don't open the message. Don't ask the question again. Pause. Not to escape, but to hold the line. The mind will fight. It will beg for one more look, one more reason. But each pause is a cut through the fog. Each moment held is a step toward seeing. Not the answer, not the why, but the truth that the chase was never the path. The mind, a machine that runs on old fuel. Each question chased burns more. The answers don't resolve. They stack like weights on a scale already tipped. The urge to know isn't curiosity. It's attachment to a story that no longer exists. A message unsent. A profile unchecked. These aren't victories. They're delays. Moments where the loop holds tighter. The pain isn't in the loss. It's in the refusal to release, to let the story end. The mind clings, not to truth, but to noise. What's held grows heavier, not because it matters, but because it's carried. Each revisit, a choice to keep the wound open. The mind thinks it's solving. It's not. It's repeating. A pattern that clouds every thought. The fog isn't external. It's built, thought by thought, glance by glance. To chase is to lose. To hold is to sink. But to detach is to cut the thread. Not to forget, not to erase, just to see without the weight. There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. The words stand, like a wall against the tide. No reasons needed, no explanations sought. The mind that chases drowns in its own waves. The one that lets go finds ground. Not soft, not warm, just solid, enough to stand. The act is simple. Not easy. The urge rises to check, to know, to solve. Don't step back, not to run, but to observe. The mind will scream. It will demand one more look, one more why. But each refusal is a crack in the loop. Each moment unhooked is a glimpse of clarity. Not the answer, not the end. Just the space where the mind can breathe. A hand pauses above the screen. The urge fades, not gone, just quiet for now. The mind settles, but the weight remains, not heavy like before. Subtle, like a shadow that moves when you don't. Chase is a choice, so is detachment. But the mind doesn't rest. It searches still for meaning in the silence. The pause isn't enough. It's a start, but not the end. To think clearly isn't to stop moving. It's to stop circling, to cut the thread that pulls you back. The mind wants to fill the void. It fears emptiness, as if silence were a threat. But the void isn't loss. It's space where clarity takes root. To hold nothing isn't to surrender. It's to command. Each moment unhooked builds a new system. Not one that runs on questions, not one that thrives on pain, but one that sees without needing to know. The fog lifts, not by force, but by absence. Absence of chase, absence of noise. The act of detachment is a blade, sharp, cold. It cuts, not to wound, but to free. The mind resists. It clings to old inputs, old stories, old wounds. But each cut is a choice to stay still, to observe without falling. The truth isn't in the story you chase. It's in the silence you allow. The next urge will come. It always does. A name, a memory, a what if, burning to be answered. Don't chase, don't explain. Just breathe through it. The mind will demand motion. It will beg for one more thought. But each breath is a wall, each pause a step toward awareness. The fog doesn't own you. The chase doesn't define you. The truth is what remains when you stop. The fog doesn't lift by running. It lifts when you stand still. The void is where it clears. The room, no light, no sound, only breath, steady, unbroken. A moment where the world falls away. Lesson 2. Suppressing pain distorts truth. A sting, a memory, a name, flashing in the dark. The mind flinches. Suppress. Push it down. Lock it away. Don't feel. Don't think. Just move. Forward. Steady. Untouched. The screen stays dark. The words stay unsaid. Not texting feels like strength. Not checking feels like control. But it's not. Each push builds a wall. Not around the pain, but around the truth. The mind buries. It hides. It runs from what's already there. Suppress isn't clarity. It's a lie, a pattern that clouds every thought. What's buried doesn't vanish. It grows invisible but heavier. Each moment ignored, a crack in the system. Not loud, not seen, just a weight behind the chest. The mind thinks it's safe. It thinks it's clear. But suppress distorts. The truth warps. The pain isn't gone. It's louder in the silence you force. Each denial, a step deeper into fog. Not the fog of loss, the fog of refusal to see what's still alive. What need is there to weep over parts of life? The whole of it calls for tears. The words stand cold, unyielding. No comfort, no escape. The mind that buries drowns in its own weight. The one that faces finds ground. Not soft, not kind, just real. Enough to hold you. To suppress is to blind yourself. To release is to open your eyes. The act is not to feel, not to cry, not to break, just to witness what's there. The sting comes, the memory burns. Don't push, don't run. Breathe through it. Let it sit. Not to consume, but to pass. The mind will fight. It will beg to hide, to lock it away. But each moment faced is a cut through the haze. Each truth seen is a step toward clarity. Not peace, not healing, just awareness. of what is. The sting sits, not loud, but sharp. A moment held, not pushed away, not buried, just there, raw, unfiltered. Suppress, pulls like a reflex. Hide it, move on. Keep the surface still, but the surface lies. Beneath, the pain shifts. It doesn't shrink, it spreads. Invisible, but heavy. Each suppression, a choice to distort. Not just the wound, the truth of what you are. The mind thinks it's guarding. It's not. It's blinding itself to what could be seen. To bury is to build a cage, not for the pain, but for awareness. Each moment ignored, a lock added. The mind feels safe. It feels clear, but safety is a fog. The truth doesn't wait. It sits behind the wall you built. Suppress doesn't erase. It amplifies in silence. The weight grows, not because the wound is deep, because the refusal to witness it is deeper. The fog isn't the loss, it's the lie that you can outrun what's inside. The act of release is a blade, not to cut the pain, not to silence it, but to cut the fear that keeps you hiding. Face the sting, not to feel it, not to dwell, just to see what it is. A memory, a name, a moment that no longer owns you. The mind will resist. It will beg to hide, to lock it away. But each truth faced is a crack in the cage. Each moment held is a glimpse of clarity. Not the kind that soothes, not the kind that heals, the kind that grounds in what's real. The next sting will come. It always does. A flash, a pull, a why, burning to be buried. Don't breathe through it. Let it pass. Not to forget, but to observe. The mind will demand escape. It will plead for control. But each breath is a choice. Each pause, a wall. The truth isn't the pain. It's the space where the pain no longer rules. A breath, steady, unbroken. The sting fades, not gone, just quiet. For now, the mind settles, but the cage remains. Not iron, not stone, just habit, built from every suppress, every Denny. The truth sits, not loud, but clear. To face it isn't to feel, it's to see. The mind resists, it wants to bury, to control, to keep the fog thick so the truth stays hidden. But clarity isn't in control. It's in release, in letting the cage fall. The act of witness is a choice, not to dwell, not to relive, just to observe what's there. A memory, a loss, a moment that no longer holds you. The mind will fight. It will beg to run, to hide. But each moment faced is a crack in the pattern. Each truth seen is a step toward awareness. Not soft, not kind, just real. Enough to stand. The fog doesn't lift by fighting. It lifts by letting go. The next pull comes. A name, a thought, a why, burning to be buried. Don't push, don't run, just breathe through it. The mind will demand escape. It will plead for silence. But silence isn't suppression. It's presence, the kind that sees without falling. The truth doesn't hurt when you stop hiding from it. The fog is only as thick as your refusal to look. The cage breaks when you stop building it. Pain doesn't mean truth. Lesson 3. Reacting to noise buries clarity. A ping, a flash, a voice cutting through the quiet. The mind turns. Reeked. Answer. Check. Respond. The screen lights up. The urge pulls like a hook in the chest. Not texting feels like restraint. Not checking feels like strength. But it's not. Each reaction feeds the noise. Each response buries clarity deeper. The mind moves, not to solve, but to drown. In notifications, in demands, in chaos that isn't yours. The noise isn't the problem. It's the response that clouds. Each tap, a choice to lose ground. Not loud, not seen. Just a shift from centered to scattered. The mind thinks it's acting. It's not. It's repeating. A loop that thrives on anxiety. The fog grows, not from the world, but from your reflex. Each reaction, a thread that pulls you further from truth. The truth that you don't owe the noise anything. The mind answers only to itself. No ping owns you. No flash commands you. To react is to surrender. To pause is to command, not to ignore, not to escape. Just to see before you move. The noise will scream, it will demand, but each pause is a cut through the haze. Each moment held is a glimpse of clarity. Not peace, not silence, just awareness of what's yours to choose. The act is simple, not easy. The screen glows. The urge burns. Don't touch. Step back. Not to hide, but to observe. The mind will rush. It will beg to answer, to fix, to fill the silence. But each step is a choice. Each pause, a wall. The noise doesn't own you. The chaos doesn't define you. The truth is what remains when you stop. The screen dims. The ping fades. A moment held. Not answered. Not chased. Just there. Quiet. Unbroken. The urge passes. Not gone. Just still. For now. The mind settles. But the noise waits. It always does. A flash. A sound. A pull. Ready to hook again. To react is to fall. To pause is to stand. The fog doesn't come from the world. It comes from the choice to move before you see. Each reaction builds a heavier fog. Not the kind that screams. Not the kind others notice. The kind that clouds behind the eyes. Anxiety thrives, not in the noise, but in your response. The mind thinks it's solving. It's not. It's repeating a pattern that buries truth. The truth that the noise has no claim. The ping doesn't own you. The flash doesn't rule. But each tap is a surrender. Each glance, a step away from clarity. There are more things likely to frighten us than there are to crush us. The words cut, sharp, unyielding. The noise is loud, but it's not real. The mind that answers loses itself. The one that holds finds ground, not soft, not safe, just solid, enough to see. To read is to chase shadows. To step back is to command the light. The act is not to ignore, not to shut out, just to observe. Before the hook pulls, the screen glows, the voice calls. Don't move. Breathe through it. Let the urge sit, not to consume, but to pass. The mind will rush. It will beg to respond, to fix, to fill the void. But each breath is a choice. Each pause, a cut through the chaos. The noise doesn't define you. The response doesn't bind you. The truth is what you choose to see. A breath, steady, unmoved. The screen stays dark. The noise waits, but the hook doesn't catch. Not this time. The mind holds, not rigid, not forced, just still, centered in the quiet. To step back isn't to hide, it's to see. The fog thins, not because the noise stops, because the response stops. The mind learns, not to shut out, not to fight, but to observe what pulls and let it pass. The urge to react is a reflex, not a choice. Each ping, a spark that begs for motion. Each flash, a demand for your eyes. The mind follows, not because it must, but because it's trained. Trained to fill the silence. Trained to chase the chaos. But each reaction buries awareness. Not in sound, not in light, in the weight of a system that runs on anxiety. The fog isn't the noise, it's the surrender to a pull that isn't yours. The act of non-reaction is a blade, not to cut the world, not to silence it, but to cut the thread that ties you to its rhythm. The screen will glow, the voice will call. Don't answer, pause, not to escape, but to hold the line. The mind will itch. It will beg to move, to check, to respond. But each pause is a crack in the pattern. Each moment unhooked is a glimpse of clarity. Not the kind that shouts, not the kind that saves, the kind that grounds you in truth. The next spark will come, a ping, a name, a demand, burning to be met. Don't move, breathe through it. Let it sit, not to consume, but to fade. The noise will scream, it will pull, but each breath is a choice. Each pause, a wall. The chaos doesn't own you. The response doesn't define you. The truth is what remains when you stay still. The fog lifts when you stop moving. You don't have to react. Why answer when the noise isn't yours? It calls, it pulls, but does it own you? Lesson 4. Clinging to regret blinds insight. Why didn't I? Why still here? The mind whispers, soft but sharp. A memory loops, a moment missed, a choice that can't be undone. Cling to the what if, to the could have been. The mind holds tight, not to heal, but to punish. Each replay, a stab, not loud, not seen, just regret, carving behind the chest. The screen stays dark, no answers there. Yet the mind returns to the same wound, the same fog. Cling feels like loyalty. It feels like truth. But it's a lie, a lens that warps every thought. What's held doesn't clarify. It blinds. Each revisit, a choice to stay lost. The mind thinks it's searching. It's not. It's repeating a pattern that drowns insight. Regret isn't wisdom. It's weight, heavy, invisible, pulling you from the present. The fog grows, not from the past, but from your grip. Each moment clung to a step deeper into haze. The truth isn't in what was, it's in what is. The past, a shadow you carry, not a map. To cling is to walk blind. To let go is to see, not to forget, not to erase, just to observe without the weight. The mind resists. It begs to hold, to replay, to fix what's gone, but each release is a crack in the loop. Each moment unhooked is a glimpse of clarity. Not soft, not kind, just real, enough to stand. The act is simple, not easy. The memory burns. The what-if pulls. Don't replay. Breathe. Through it. Let it sit. Not to consume, but to pass. The mind will fight. It will demand one more thought. One more why. But each breath is a choice. Each pause, a cut through the fog. The past doesn't own you. The regret doesn't define you. The truth is what remains when you let go. The whisper fades, soft but sharp. Why didn't I? The mind clings, not to answers, but to regret. A moment loops, a choice that can't be changed. Each replay, a weight added. Not loud, not seen, just heavy behind the eyes. The mind holds, thinking it's keeping truth. It's not. It's burying iron sight under layers of what if. The fog thickens, not from the past, but from the refusal to release. Cling isn't loyalty. It's a chain locking you to a shadow. The past doesn't speak unless you let it. Each memory held a choice to blind yourself. The mind thinks it's solving. It's not. It's repeating, a loop that clouds awareness. Regret doesn't teach. It distorts every thought, every truth. The weight grows, not because the moment was wrong, because the grip is tighter than the wound. To hold is to lose. To let go is to see, not to forget, just to stand in what's real. You must live in the present. Launch yourself on every wave. Find your eternity in each moment. The words stand, cold, unyielding. The mind that clings drowns in shadows. The one that releases finds ground, not soft, not warm, just solid, enough to breathe. To cling is to stay lost. To detack is to command the now. The act is not to erase, not to deny, just to observe. The pull and let it pass. The memory comes. The regret burns. Don't replay. Breathe through it. Let it sit. Not to consume, but to fade. The mind will fight. It will beg to hold, to fix, to relive. But each breath is a choice. Each pause, a crack in the chain. The past doesn't own you. The weight doesn't define you. The truth is what you choose to see. A breath, steady, unmoved. The memory fades, not gone, just quiet. For now, the mind settles, but the chain remains. Not iron, not stone, just habit. Built from every cling, every regret. The truth sits, not loud, but clear. To hold it is to blind yourself. To let go is to see. The mind resists. It wants to replay, to fix, to keep the fog thick so the past stays alive. But clarity isn't in the weight. It's in the release, in letting the shadow fall. The act of detachment is a choice, not to erase, not to forget, just to observe what pulls and let it pass. The what if burns. The could have been stings. Don't dwell. Breathe through it. Let it sit. Not to consume, but to fade. The mind will fight. It will beg to hold, to relive, to explain. But each release is a crack in the pattern. Each moment, unhooked, is a glimpse of awareness. Not soft, not kind. Just real. Enough to ground. The next pull comes. A name. A moment. A why. Burning to be replayed. Don't step back. Not to run, but to witness. The mind will scream. It will demand one more thought. One more loop. But each pause is a choice. Each breath, a wall. The past doesn't own you. The regret doesn't define you. The truth is what remains when you stop holding. The fog lifts when you drop the chain. Let go isn't weakness. Why hold it when it's already gone? It weighs. It pulls. But is it yours? Lesson 5. Explaining to others fractures focus. A question, a glance, a silence that begs for words. The mind moves. Explain. Fill the gap. Justify the choice. Clarify the pain. The voice rises, soft but urgent. Not explaining feels like failure. Not speaking feels like loss. So you speak. You reason. You lay it out, hoping they'll see, hoping they'll stay. But each word pulls you further, not toward them, away from centered. The mind fractures, chasing their nod, their understanding. Explain isn't clarity. It's a trap, a system that clouds your truth. What's said doesn't bind. It scatters. Each explanation, a thread that ties you to their eyes. The mind thinks it's building. It's not. It's breaking under the weight of isolation. Not the kind that's quiet. The kind that's loud. In the need to be seen. The fog grows. Not from their silence, but from your response. Each word spoken, a step deeper into haze. The truth isn't in their approval. It's in yours. No man can swim ashore and take his baggage with him. The words stand cold, unyielding. The mind that explains drowns in its own load. The one that holds finds ground, not warm, not safe, just solid, enough to stand. To explain is to lose focus. To say less is to command it. The act is simple, not easy. The question comes. The silence stings. Don't fill it. Breathe through it. Let it sit, not to hide, but to observe. The mind will rush. It will beg to speak, to justify, to be understood. But each pause is a choice. Each silence, a wall. The need to explain doesn't own you. Their understanding doesn't define you. The truth is what remains when you stop. The silence holds, not heavy, but sharp. A question unanswered, a glance unmet. The urge fades, not gone, just still. The mind settles, but the pull remains. Not loud, not seen, just there, urging to explain, to fill the void, to make it right. Each word held back feels like loss, but it's not. Each silence kept is a step toward centered. The fog thins, not because they understand, because you stop chasing their eyes. The need to explain is a reflex, not a choice. Each pause broken, a fracture in focus. The mind moves not to clarify, but to please, to be seen, to be kept. But each word builds a heavier isolation, not the kind that's quiet, the kind that screams in the space where your truth should be. The fog grows, not from their questions, but from your response. Each justification, a step away from clarity. The truth doesn't need their nod. The act of saying less is a blade, not to cut them, not to hide, but to cut the need that ties you to their judgment. The question burns, the silence stings. Don't speak. Breathe. through it. Let it sit, not to avoid, but to observe. The mind will rush. It will beg to justify, to be understood. But each pause is a crack in the pattern. Each silence, a glimpse of clarity. Not the kind that soothes, not the kind that binds, the kind that frees you to see. The next pull comes. A look, a word, a gap, burning to be filled. Don't step back, not to run, but to hold the line. The mind will fight. It will demand one more sentence, one more reason. But each breath is a choice. Each silence, a wall. Their approval doesn't own you. Their understanding doesn't define you. The truth is what remains when you stay still. A breath, steady, unmoved. The silence holds, not forced, not heavy, just there, sharp, unbroken. The urge to explain fades, not gone, just quiet, for now. The mind settles, but the reflex waits. A glance, a pause, a moment, ready to pull again. To say less isn't to hide, it's to see. The fog thins, not because the world quiets, because the response stops. The mind learns, not to please, not to fill, but to observe what matters and let the rest pass. Each explanation fractures more than focus. It scatters truth. The mind moves, not to connect, but to chase, to be understood, to be kept. But each word builds a louder isolation, not the kind that's still, the kind that hums in the space where your ground should be. The fog grows not from their silence, but from your need. Each justification, a step away from clarity. The truth doesn't live in their eyes. It lives in your choice to stay. The act of silence is a choice, not to avoid, not to retreat, just to witness the pull and let it fade. The question stings, the gap burns. Don't fill it, breathe through it. Let it sit, not to consume, but to pass. The mind will rush. It will beg to speak, to clarify, to be seen. But each pause is a crack in the system. Each silence, a glimpse of awareness. Not the kind that binds, not the kind that saves, the kind that grounds you in what's yours. The next urge comes, a word, a look, a silence, burning to be broken. Don't. Hold the line! Not to fight, but to see. The mind will scream. It will demand one more reason, one more plea. But each breath is a wall. Each silence, a choice. Their judgment doesn't own you. Their silence doesn't define you. The truth is what remains when you stop chasing. The fog clears when you stop justifying. No explanation is power too. Seneca sat, his quill still, a letter unwritten, a truth unforced, left to stand alone. Lesson 6. Avoiding pain blocks awareness. A sting, a flash, a memory, sharp, unbidden. The mind turns. Avoid. Don't look. Don't feel. Don't stay. Move past. Scroll away. Shut it out. Fast. Clean. Gone. Not facing feels like safety. Not dwelling feels like strength. But it's not. Each dodge builds a wall. Not around the pain, but around awareness. The mind runs, not to heal, but to hide. Avoid isn't clarity. It's a trap, a loop that clouds every truth. What's fled doesn't fade. It waits. Invisible, but heavier. Each moment dodged a crack in the system. Not loud, not seen, just numbness spreading behind the chest. The mind thinks it's free. It's not. It's repeating a pattern that blinds. Pain isn't the enemy. The refusal to witness it is. The fog grows not from the sting, but from the choice to run. Each escape, a step deeper into haze. The truth isn't in flight, it's in facing. What's faced dissolves, what's fled grows. The words stand, cold, unyielding. The mind that avoids builds its own fog. The one that sees finds ground, not soft, not safe, just real enough to hold. To avoid is to stay blind. To witness is to break the loop. The act is simple, not easy. The sting comes. The memory burns. Don't turn. Breathe through it. Let it sit. Not to consume, but to pass. The mind will rush. It will beg to flee, to scroll, to numb. But each moment faced is a crack in the pattern. Each truth seen is a glimpse of clarity, not the kind that soothes, not the kind that heals, the kind that grounds you in what is. The sting sits, sharp, unhidden, a breath, steady, unmoved. The urge to avoid fades, not gone, just still, for now. The mind settles, but the reflex waits. A flash, a thought, a pull, ready to turn you away. To not face feels like escape, but it's not. Each dodge buries awareness deeper. The fog thins, not because the pain stops, because the running stops. The mind learns not to numb, not to flee, but to witness what is and let it pass. Each avoidance builds a heavier fog, not the kind that screams, not the kind others see, the kind that clouds behind the eyes. Numbness isn't freedom. It's weight, heavy, invisible, clouding every thought. The mind thinks it's safe. It's not. It's repeating a loop that blinds. Pain doesn't block truth. The choice to run does. The fog grows, not from what hurts, but from what's ignored. Each escape, a thread that pulls you from ground. The truth isn't in flight, it's in staying. The act of witness is a blade, not to cut the pain, not to silence it, but to cut the fear that keeps you running. The memory burns, the sting pulls. Don't turn. Breathe through it. Let it sit, not to consume, but to fade. The mind will rush. It will beg to scroll, to numb, to hide. But each moment faced is a crack in the system. Each truth seen is a glimpse of clarity, not the kind that saves, not the kind that heals, the kind that holds you in what's real. The next sting comes, a name, a moment, a flash, burning to be fled. Don't step back, not to hide, but to see. The mind will scream. It will demand escape. One more distraction, one more numb. But each breath is a choice. Each pause, a wall. The pain doesn't own you. The running doesn't define you. The truth is what remains when you stay. A breath, steady, unbroken. The sting fades, not gone, just quiet, for now. The mind holds, not rigid, not forced, just still, centered in the truth. To witness isn't to dwell, it's to see. The fog thins, not because the pain dissolves, Because the evidence stops. The mind learns not to run, not to numb, but to observe what pulls and let it pass. The truth isn't in escape, it's in staying where the haze clears. The urge to avoid is a reflex, not a choice. Each sting, a spark that begs for flight. Each flash, a pull to turn away. The mind moves, not to heal, but to hide. But each escape buries awareness deeper. Numbness isn't freedom. It's weight, heavy, invisible, clouding every thought. The fog grows, not from what hurts, but from what's fled. Each flight, a thread that ties you to the haze. The truth waits, unyielding, until you face it. You suffer more in imagination than in reality. The words stand, cold, unyielding. The mind that runs builds its own chains. The one that stays finds ground, not soft, not kind, just real, enough to breathe. To avoid is to stay blind. To witness is to break the loop, not to feel, not to fix, just to see what is and let it be. The act is not to fight, not to suppress, just to breathe through the sting. The flash comes, the memory pulls. Don't turn. Let it sit, not to consume, but to fade. The mind will rush. It will beg to numb, to scroll, to flee. But each moment faced is a crack in the pattern. Each truth seen is a glimpse of clarity. Not the kind that soothes, not the kind that saves, the kind that holds you in the now. The mind settles, not soft, but still. A moment held, not fled, not numbed, just there, raw, unfiltered. The urge to avoid fades, not gone, just quiet, for now. The fog thins, not because the pain shrinks, because the running stops. To witness isn't to carry the wound, it's to see it and let it pass. The truth isn't in the escape, it's in the staying, where clarity takes root. Each avoidance builds a denser haze, not the kind that screams, not the kind others notice, the kind that clouds behind the chest. Numbness isn't peace. It's a lie, a weight that blinds awareness. The mind thinks it's safe. It's not. It's repeating, a loop that buries truth. Pain doesn't block insight. The choice to run does. The fog grows, not from what stings, but from what's ignored. The truth waits, unyielding, until you face it. The act of breaking the loop is a choice. Not to fight, not to hide, just to observe the pull and let it fade. The sting comes, the memory burns. Don't turn. Breathe through it. Let it sit, not to consume, but to pass. The mind will rush. It will beg to numb, to scroll, to flee. But each moment faced is a crack in the system. Each truth seen is a glimpse of ground, not warm, not kind, just solid, enough to stand. The next flash comes, a thought, a sting, a pull, burning to be dodged. Don't. Hold the line, not to resist, but to see. The mind will scream. It will demand escape. One more distraction, one more numb. But each breath is a choice. Each pause, a wall. The pain doesn't own you. The running doesn't define you. The truth is what remains when you stay. The mind settles, not soft, but still. A moment held, not fled, not numbed, just there, raw, unfiltered. The urge to avoid fades, not gone, just quiet, for now. The fog thins, not because the pain dissolves, because the running stops. To witness isn't to carry the wound, it's to see it and let it pass. The truth isn't in the escape, it's in the staying where clarity takes root. Each avoidance builds a denser haze, not the kind that screams, not the kind others notice, the kind that clouds behind the chest. Numbness isn't peace. It's a lie, a weight that blinds awareness. The mind thinks it's safe. It's not. It's repeating, a loop that buries truth. Pain doesn't block insight. The choice to run does. The fog grows, not from what stings, but from what's ignored. The truth waits, unyielding, until you face it. The act of breaking the loop is a choice, not to fight, not to hide, just to observe the pull and let it fade. The sting comes, the memory burns. Don't turn, breathe through it. Let it sit, not to consume, but to pass. The mind will rush, it will beg to numb, to scroll, to flee. But each moment faced is a crack in the system. Each truth seen is a glimpse of ground. Not warm, not kind, just solid, enough to stand. The next flash comes, a thought, a sting, a pull, burning to be dodged. Don't hold the line, not to resist, but to see. The mind will scream, it will demand escape. One more distraction, one more numb. But each breath is a wall, each pause a choice. The pain doesn't own you. The running doesn't define you. The truth is what remains when you stay still. Marcus Aurelius sat under the stars. A thought stirred. He let it pass. The night stayed clear. The fog clears. When you face the truth, stillness is enough. A screen, dark, untouched. A room, no sound, no motion. A hand rests, still, unclinched. The world waits, but nothing moves. The urge came, the pull burned. Yet no chase, no answer, just breath, steady, unbroken. A moment held, not to fix, not to flee, just to be here, in the quiet. The silence wasn't empty. It held something. Not peace, not answers, just presence, raw, unfiltered. A choice made, not to react, not to explain, not to run. A choice to see. The fog didn't lift because the world changed. It lifted because the respin stopped. A single pause where the weight didn't win. That stillness. Was it yours or just a pause? The mind held, but will it hold again? The truth doesn't shout. It waits. Behind the chest, behind the noise. It waits for you to choose. Silence is a choice that weighs.